gems, and welcome back to another one of my videos. Two new things today. I got some glasses. Apparently I actually need glasses to see things ever so slightly sharper now, so these are some glasses. Might be wearing them more often. Second thing, and probably cooler, is I got a new camera. I'm one of these people now, you know? I'm like, look at my crochet hook. You see this crochet hook? Yeah, I got a new camera. I'm very excited about it. This is the first video that I've tried to record on, so hopefully it all goes well. Today's video is going to be how many scarves can I make using my stash. So not necessarily scrap yarn, but my stash. Because a big thing in 2025, I really just want to work through the yarn that I have instead of buying more, which is funny because I have to keep buying yarn to make these scrap items because I keep running out of yarn. So I started making all of these scarves with the intention of not filming it, and then I made a bunch and I was like, damn, I should have filmed this. So we're going to be starting like halfway through, I guess. I will show you what I've made so far. So these are all going to be granny square scarves, okay, because I like making them. I'm big into granny squares at the moment, don't judge me. But this was the first one I made using 3 different shades of pink. Oh, that's so cool. It's so cool how it focuses all by itself. Can't get over it. Anyway, so this was the first one with all these different shades of pink. I really like this one. I was originally going to do a black outline with this, but then I put a poll on my Instagram and everyone was like, yeah, do cream. And I was like, you're so right. You're so real for that. This came out really cute. And then I made my Nan a scarf as well in these like yellow mustard tones for her birthday, but I have since given her that scarf. So here's a picture or a video or something, hopefully, of the scarf. And then I made 2 more scarves. There's a lot of scarves. I made 2 more scarves inspired by a jacket that I recently bought from Lucy and Yak that all had these really, wow, vibrant rainbow colors in them. So I made this granny square scarf, but this is obviously also using a different type of granny square. This is the, is it called a block granny square or granny block square or something like that, where you have like this row of single crochets and chains in between each round, which I think is really cool. It does make the square really big though, so you just have to be careful of that if you are making a block granny square like I am. But I made this one, and I had originally made 2 of each colorway of square because they all are slightly different. No, I hadn't made 2, I'd made 3 of each of the colorways, and I crocheted them all together using the continuous join as you go method, and I put it on and it was down to my feet. It was so long. So I actually frogged that, and then I only put 2 sets of each of the squares onto this scarf, and then I made another set to make another version of the same scarf. So we have 2 versions of the same scarf, except one of them has a darker green on the outside because I ran out of this green. But we're using our stash. Say it with me, we're using our stash, so that's good. These 3, technically 4, are complete. They are finished, donezo, weaved in all my ends, which can I just say, this one, nightmare to weave in my ends because there was so many ends to weave in. Like I said, I finished those ones. I've got 2 more that I need to finish, and then I've got some ideas on some other ones that I want to make with you guys in this here video. The first one that I need to finish is this cutesy little blue version of the scarf. So we've got all these different shades of blue in 3 different colorways, I guess, with a white outline. But I ran out of white. Well, I didn't run out of white, but like my other white yarns have a different texture to them, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that to myself or to anyone who may potentially have this scarf in the future. So I did go out and I got some more yarn for this scarf, but I can always do with white, so that wasn't really a big deal. And the second one I need to finish, which I love so much, is this scarf. So this, once again, 3 different colorways. These are the colorways. I love these colors together. I think these colors are so cool together, and I ended up going for a pink outline instead of, I was going to do cream and then I was going to do like a dark teal, And then I found this baby pink and I was like, oh, that'll be really good. So I did that. Again, this is the block granny square, but in between each row it's actually sparkly. I don't know. I know I just got a new camera and all, but I don't know if it's gonna pick up that the white yarn is actually sparkly, but it is. But I ran out of the pink yarn, so I had to go and get some more pink yarn, which I've already started using for something else. So we're gonna finish those two off, and then we're gonna make some more. I've got at least 2 colors or 2 colorways that I would like to make. We're currently at 3 scarves finished, technically 4. Put your guesses in the comments down below right now. How many scarves do you think I'm gonna make? Because I have no time limit on this. It's just kind of, it's just vibe based, you know, it's just a vibe assessment. Oh, and I have also been collecting all of my ends. Look at this jar. It is jam-packed. If I open this, so I've been collecting all of my ends, and the ends from these scarves kind of start here. Can you see that? This entire thing. Yep. Let's just get crocheting, shall we? Okay, so here is our blue scarf. I love this colorway. I think it is so nice. And I'm really glad I went for white and not cream because it really makes it icy. I don't know. I just think that if I'd have gone for the cream instead, it would have looked a little bit... I mean, it would have looked fine, but wouldn't have looked like this, obviously. So I should say... I was going to say later, but I may as well say it now. The way that I'm making these scarves are 2 different ways, obviously, but this one is 6 rounds of the colours, and I make those as they are, weave in the ends, the very tedious part of the job, but I like to weave in the ends before I join them together so that I don't have to weave in the ends of a really long scarf, if you know what I mean. But then I use the continuous join as you go method to connect them all, which basically means you go around like 3 of the edges and then you chain 2 and then you connect your next square, do 3 of the edges, so and so and so on, and then you go along the very top of all of the squares. Obviously, if you were making a bag, you would go like along the top, but you wouldn't go down the side. You would just do it again. That doesn't make any sense. I will try to remember to put in the description the video that I watched, because I've watched a couple continuous join as you go videos in the past and they've actually been really difficult to understand, but this one I got straight away. So here is scarf number 4, technically number 5. We're just going to go with the ones that I have here to stop myself from having to go through that every time I talk about it. I actually used a lot of this skein. These are only 50-gram balls from Hobbycraft. I do like this yarn, but the skeins are really small. Onto this one. So obviously I'm making these squares the same way, but this scarf has the block granny square instead. And like I said, I didn't quite realize when I made these squares that because it has the chains and the single crochets in between each round, it means the square is really big. So this is still technically 6 rounds of colour, but because it's got an increase in every row, it is really big. Like, it's significantly bigger than the regular one. So just bear that in mind if you are to make your own. So yeah, this has 6 colours, or 6 rounds of colours with 1 round in between. The rainbow ones that I did earlier were only 5 colours, so they're slightly smaller, but they're still pretty big. So yeah, let's continue with this square. This scarf, I keep saying the wrong thing. Ooh, I have finally finished this scarf. It is so big, but I actually enjoy how big it is, so that's pretty good. It used up a pretty decent amount of yarn, which is nice, so we'll save that for a different project that I am working on. But yeah, I really like these colours. I don't know if the light pink was the best choice. I feel like it could have done with, well, actually no, I went for the light pink because these two are kind of in the same colour family. They're both greeny blue kind of, you know, vibe. Obviously one's green and one's blue, but like they're both cool toned green shades. And so I wanted another pink, so that's why I went for it. Anyway, this one, like I said, is huge. There's actually only 9 squares in this one. No, 12 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. There's only 9 squares in this one, and it is big. Also, this has got quite wavy edges, so I might try and steam block it maybe, just to kind of get rid of that. But well, there we have it. Our 5th scarf. What does our pile look like so far? So if I pop these on top of there. Alright, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Well, that's not so bad, is it? And I've used a lot of yarn doing this. So some yarns that I've had for quite a while that I've been trying to get rid of, so that's pretty good. I am getting a lot of pain right here in my hand, so much so that whenever I stop crocheting and I go to do something else, it starts twitching. So I think that's a sign that I need to take a break. It's also a little bit late, so I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you in the morning for our next scarf. I know what it's gonna be, but it'll be a surprise for you. Good morning, gems. How are we all doing? It is the next day, and we're gonna start our next scarf. Now for this scarf, I really want to do some purples. I have quite a few purples that I've had for a long time that I just don't want anymore. Like, I don't have a need for them, and this feels like the perfect opportunity. So I've kind of buried myself in here, but you can see this stack of yarn. I'm trying to get to that. There's a lot of stuff in front of it, hang on. So the only problem I'm really having is they're different tones of purple, if that makes sense. So I have like this really nice purple. It's a full skein, like I've not even touched this, but it's really warm in comparison to this light purple. So then I need to find a middle purple that will kind of go with it. I have this, but this is way too cool toned to go with this. Do you know what I mean? This is the problem I'm having. That's kind of okay, but then this feels too cool tone now. I actually don't have any more purples in this box. Someone put it down. And then this lilac is almost the same as the other one. So like, what do I need? I need a middle ground between these ones. Like I need this. This is the middle ground. Okay. Right. I do really want to use this purple, but I don't think it's going to work. I think it's too warm toned. So I think instead these three. These two look kind of similar on camera, but in real life they've got quite a bit of definition between the two. So now I need to make sure I've got more of this, because this isn't going to make a whole scarf. Okay, I have this. I actually think that's all of this purple I have, which is not great. And it probably means I'll have to get another skein of this. Again, not great, but I'm using up the rest of my stash. I don't mind if I have to get one skein to get rid of two. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's balancing out. And like I said, these are like these are the Knitcraft Everyday DK from Hobbycraft, and they're only 50 grams, like they're really small. So I will definitely use up the rest of it for this other project that I'm working on alongside all of this. I think with all that being said, is that the same purple? Yeah, so we've got this purple, we've got this lilac-y colour, and this purple. And we're going to make a similar style scarf to the rest. And then I have a bunch of this yarn, which is again the Everyday DK from Knitcraft, just in beige, which I think will go quite nice with all of this. Yeah, I think it will. So let's get started. Here is our first square. I think this is really cute. I really like these colours. I don't know if you can tell the definition between the two different purples now. Like this one and this one. But I think this is really nice. I'm going to make 4 of this. And then basically what I do is I just shift the colours by 1. So the next time I do it, the medium purple will be in the middle, and then the third time the dark purple will be in the middle. I like to start off by going light to dark. It doesn't quite work out like that for the rest of the squares, going like ombre, like order, but it doesn't really matter. That's just how I like to do it. I'm gonna make 4 of these and then 4 of the other ones for a total of 12 squares. 12 squares with 6 rounds in each square, in case you wanted to make your own, I guess. But anyway, let's get cracking. So I have finished all of the squares and I've weaved in all of the ends. I really like how these came out. I think they are really good colours. I think the difference in the shades is pretty nice. I was worried about the like medium and the dark purple, but they look different enough for it to work. So that's good. And I've also put them in the order that I'm going to crochet them together, so that I have less work to do later. So I did go ahead and get some cream yarn out, and I guess whilst we're here we may as well compare the white yarn as well. But obviously my original thought was to use this beige to connect them all together, which I still really like. This is the cream and this is the white. So yeah, I think the white would look good, but I think it would be a little bit too icy. I don't want it to be really like stark and bright. I think this lends itself to having something a little bit more neutral, a little bit more muted to tie it all together. And yeah, this cream is way too yellow, so the beige it is. Look at that focus. Can't get over the focus. Still can't get over the focus. I do have this, which is a slightly less yellowy cream, but I still think, well, firstly, this isn't enough, and this is all I have. And I'd have to go out of my way to get this yarn, so that's also vetoed. We're gonna go with the beige, and I think it's gonna look very cute. Like I said, I'm gonna use the continuous join as you grow method, so I don't have to weave. I only have to weave in 2 ends at the end of this, which is going to be so great. Hopefully this is going to be enough to do the whole thing, so I don't have to weave in any extra ends, but we'll see. Let's crochet them together. The purple scarf is finished. I think this is so cute. It's not my favorite, but that's just because I'm not much of a purple person, but I am so glad that I was able to use up some of these purple yarns that I've had lying around for so long. I ended up using that full skein of beige, and it was so annoying. You know how I said that I was hoping to not have to weave in that many ends? There was a knot in the skein, so I had to cut that, which meant I had an extra end to weave in, and I thought, you know what, at that point I may as well just have endless ends. So I found a small ball of the beige that I had lying around, used that up, and now we have kind of half of this one left, which is really good. And then purple yarn wise, this is all we have left of the purple, which is so good. So this is a skein that I bought today. Again, I think we have about half of that left. And then this is all we have left of the other 2 colours. So we used up the majority of this one, which is really good. And we still have a pretty decent amount of this left. So this is going in this box, which is for another project that I'm working on. This is scarf number 6, and we'll be going on the scarf pile. And then I had an idea for the next scarf, and I was trying to find the yarn for it. I know I have it, but I have no idea where I've put it. And in the process of looking for that yarn, I found this yarn, which is a bunch of the Women's Institute Aran, and they come in these massive skeins of yarn. So I tried making Scott a cardigan with this, and it came out really bad. So I frogged the whole thing, and now I'm left with all of this, and I've not had an idea what to do with it. So then we're gonna make a scarf out of it. I had an idea to make a primary colored scarf anyway, so this could be cool. Well, girl. And I think because I have so much of this yellow, I'm gonna do the block granny squares. So I'm gonna have the red and the blue with yellow running in between, because that will use up a chunk of this yellow, and it'll also mean I can maybe only do like 1 or 2 color repeats using this, because this is all I have in the blue and the red, and I really don't want to buy more of this because these are expensive skeins of yarn. It's £13 for a 400, I think it's 400 gram ball of yarn, which is a lot of yarn, but I don't want to be buying that. So, but it is late and I am tired and my battery's dying, so I might make 1 or 2 before bed, but otherwise I'll see you guys in the morning. Good afternoon. So last night I went ahead and made 2 of the granny squares that I'm going to be using for this scarf, and I really like how they have come out. So I've only done 2 color repeats like I said, and I haven't put the gold on the outside like I did for the pink, green and teal scarf that I did, because I didn't want it to be too big, and I also didn't want to run the risk of running out of yarn. So this is what they're going to look like, and I believe I need to make 5 of each colorway, which I think is going to be fine. I think I'll have enough yarn for that. I do have a project that I used this yarn in like years ago that I don't really wear anymore, so if I do run out, if I do fall a little short, I can just frog that and use the excess. But I like how these are coming out. I thought I wouldn't like it so much because they're more on the muted side of like primary colors, especially this blue, but they actually look quite nice. So I'm going to go ahead and make the rest of them. scarf is finished. I really like how this came out. I know I say that about all of them, but it's just because they're all good. What can I say? So usually I would do 2 rounds of the like border color, but I felt like the yellow was like really prominent, so I decided to just do the 1 round and then do a single crochet around the whole thing, just to give it a little bit more structure, because sometimes like this part, the joining part, can like it like curves a little bit, so I added a single crochet around the entire thing. Now the problem is that I didn't use up as much yarn as I thought it would. I still have all of this and all of this yellow left. I probably have enough to make another scarf, which I really don't want to do. I don't want to make another scarf using this yarn at least, so I could try adding tassels. Oh, sorry. I could try adding little tassels on the bottom. I haven't done that to any of the scarves yet. And I feel like this one, you can't really see. It hasn't actually come out as long as the other ones. The other ones kind of like sit a little bit further down. I guess if you pull it, it does. Maybe if we added tassels, it would make it a little bit longer. Let's try it out. I don't know how to do this. I'm just gonna wing it. Ta-da! I added tassels. I think it looks really cool. It did not use up any yarn, so I still have a lot of that yarn left over, which is fine. I do need to go in and like trim the ends so they're all even, but I really like how this one came out. And because it's like a little bit more of a dense yarn, it's a little bit warmer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is officially scarf number 7 complete, which is really cool. Very much different from the rest of the ones that we've made, so that's nice as well. I went rummaging through my stash looking for the yarn that I was trying to find before I found that yarn to make that scarf, and I found it eventually, and it's this Leaders of the Pack yarn from Hobbycraft. Now, I had originally bought this yarn to make a cardigan with, a knitted cardigan, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, I don't actually know if I want a cardigan in this colorway anymore. So I have this red and blue, and then I also have this cream, which I had originally bought alongside like a grey beige color to also make a jumper, but realized I didn't really like that colorway either. So I've been seeing a lot of like this colorway recently, so I thought why not use this yarn to make another scarf. I know. We'll do a little bit of experimenting because this yarn is also kind of expensive and I don't want to run out. So we'll see. But I've got 2 of these, 1 of each of these. Let's just see how we go. Just gonna film it also. Ta-da! I made another scarf, hee. Who would have thought in this video, but so last night I actually made all of the squares. I stayed up too late. To finish off all this. Sorry, as I was saying, I stayed up way too late finishing off all of these squares, but I ended up just alternating between the blue and the red with just 1 round of each of the colours because this yarn is quite chunky, so they didn't really need to have more than that many rounds. I do really like these colours. I think this is a really cool colourway. I see a lot of people nowadays, I guess, like it's become quite a trendy colourway. Take a shot every time I say colourway. But then instead of doing another round of granny clusters, I instead went around and did a crab stitch border. If you know anything about me, you know I love a crab stitch border. And this I feel like it just added that final touch that it really needed. So this is officially scarf number, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Isn't that so fun? And I kind of like to finish this video on 10 scarves, so I've got to figure out which one I want to make next. I know which one I want to do last, but what do I want to make now? Not quite sure. Let me have a rummage through my stash and I'll get back to you. So I have gone through my stash. I've had a little look on Pinterest, which I don't very often do, but we've done a lot of quite light colored scarves so far. So I wanted to make something a little bit more like woodlandy. I don't know, like 70s vibes, I guess, something a little bit darker. So these are all the colors I picked out. And I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna use the brown for the outside connectings, and then we're gonna have these colors for the actual circle. And I think I'm going to use this cream twice. Yeah. I think I'm going to do like center, cream, then 2 colors, then cream, 2 colors. Just to give it a little bit of lightness. Because otherwise it might be a little bit too dark. I don't know, we'll see how it goes, but that's what I'm going to do now. Gonna be so many ends to weave in. I went ahead and just made 1 square to make sure that I was happy with the colorway, and I do really like it, and I think it'll go quite nicely with this brown around the border. So we're gonna go ahead and make 12 of these because this is like a 6 row granny square, which is what my like pink, blue and purple ones are. A lot of ends, but it's okay. Sometimes I quite enjoy just sitting here for like a whole hour weaving in the end. It can be therapeutic and a nice break from the repetitive restraint of crocheting. So I'm going to do 4 different colorways 3 times. Cool. Oh, also I recorded myself making that whole granny square and it took me about 11.5 minutes. So if we're doing the maths, it's about like, it's about 2 hours to make all the squares. So maybe like 2.5 for a full scarf. Or a full day if I'm being really lazy, like I was when I was making the purple one. Ooh, finally finished this scarf, and I actually really do like how it came out. I was a bit unsure of the colours at first, but I think they actually look really nice together. It's not quite the vibe I was going for, but I think it's worked out. Sorry for the lack of commentary during this scarf. I've been so tired because of work and just other things, so but we got there in the end, and this is officially our 9th scarf, which is really fun. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, officially our 9th scarf. So that's going on the pile. I would just like you to see this pile real quick. They're all just there. They've only fallen down like twice, it's fine. I think we're going to move on to the last scarf that I am going to make in this video. And I've been saving it till last just because I think it's going to be the most fun. Over the last couple of weeks, I have been kind of accumulating all of this yarn that I have not used for a long time and have not that much left of, and I've been making colourful granny squares to eventually, hopefully, at the end of the year make a giant granny square blanket, because I've never made an actual like kind of traditional granny square blanket. Oh, my monitor's turned off, hang on. I was really inspired by a girl I follow on TikTok. I think her name is Caroline. I will try and find her TikTok and kind of I'll link it in the description down below. But she made a massive colourful granny square blanket with a black border, and I thought it looked really, really cool. So that's like on the back burner for the entirety of this year. But I thought it would be really nice to make a scarf version of this using some stash yarn. So that's what we're going to do. The way I've been doing the squares for this blanket is I want it to be random, but not too random. Like, I made this kind of granny square t-shirt recently. I still have so many ends to weave in on this, as you can see. But this was also kind of like using scrap yarn from a couple different projects. And I wanted this to be random and I wanted those to be random, but not so random that I didn't feel like I had like no idea what was coming, if that makes any sense. So what I did was, in this little notebook that I have, I wrote down, if you can see here, I assigned each color a number, and then I assigned it whether it was light or dark. And then I have a like it's a wheel of names on my computer that I've written like 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, etc, etc on it. I spin the wheel and then I write down the numbers and the letters so that I can then just go and make the granny squares. So that's what we're going to do now. Obviously I need 12 squares, so let's grab a pencil. Where's a pencil? There's a pencil. And I'm just going to go and spin this wheel real quick and I will be right back. Right, here are our 12 squares and the colours that will be in those squares. Did I kind of choose it every now and then when it would give me like 4B 3 times in a row? Yeah I did actually, but that's none of your business. So let's just go ahead. I will show you the setup. My room's kind of a mess at the moment because of this, because I've kind of taken all of these yarns out of my storage and put them into bags, and then I'm like, I've got nowhere to put these bags. So we have these 2 big bags. Yeah, we have these 2 big bags full of yarn. This one is like the dark variations of each color, and this is the light variations of each color, just to make it a little bit easier for myself when it comes to picking like what color I want to use. I seem to have more darks than I do lights, which is interesting. This one's in the wrong bag. Oh well. But so those are kind of like skeins that are like, it's almost like a whole skein, or it's more than just like a little scrap. And then in this box is smaller like balls of yarn that are like, that were like the end of a skein. So and these are just a bunch of different colors, just to kind of have them on hand and they're not like, they haven't like sunk to the bottom of the other bags. So yeah. Also, top tip, I saw someone else do this and I was like, I don't remember who I saw, but I was like, that's kind of genius. When you're doing these little balls of yarn, what I hate about them is that they unravel like this. It's really annoying. Or kind of like this. If you've got a little clip, you just clip in your ends and it stays in place. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to go out and like buy more clips because some of these don't have clips and it's actually like really annoying me. Like that's just so neat and it's so handy. Anyway, so basically I kind of looked through this box first because these are kind of the ones that I really want to use up, just so I don't have like tiny bits of yarn lying around. And then if this fails, I go into the bags. But with all that being said, let's start making our squares. I'm excited. First square is complete. A little bit annoying, I ran out of the little ball of yarn that I was using for the last like outside circle. I should have accounted for that and I had to add on a bit, which is, it's only annoying for weaving in ends purposes, but other than that it's fine. So this is the first square. This is the vibe we're going for. Do I like these colors together? Not necessarily, but I think that's the whole point of like a randomly generated granny square thing, is you're not always supposed to like the color combo. I also recorded myself making the entirety of the square and it took me about 15 minutes, so a little bit longer than squares that we have made previously, so that's really good news. And I also am so looking forward to weaving in all of these ends. But I'm gonna go ahead and make the other 11. I don't know how much I record because obviously it's a lot of color changes and that might be a bit boring, but we'll see. And I'll see you when they're all finished. Good morning! So, I once again stayed up way too late finishing off all of these squares. Actually, crocheting the squares wasn't the problem, it was weaving in all the ends. And I said to myself, I was like, well, if I can get at least 6 of them weaved in, then, you know, we'll be halfway there, and tomorrow morning I can wake up and finish the rest of them. And so I did 6, but then I was like, while I'm halfway through, I may as well get a couple more done. So I was like, maybe we'll get to 9, and then I got to 9 and I was like, well, there's only 3 left, so I may as well just keep going. And then suddenly it was like 1:30 in the morning. But here are all the squares. Some of them are a little bit ugly, and some of them are much cuter. So I want to show you my favorites actually. This is what I love about doing random granny squares as well, because it gives me new inspiration for like colorways to use in the future. But look at how cute this one is. I love this green and this pink, and it's like dark teal, but then there's also like grassy green with this light yellow and the red. I think this is really nice. I don't know, there's just something about it. There's this one as well. I don't so much like the dark green and the red in the center, but I do like, if we took this dark green out, I think this color palette is really nice. For some reason, I'm obsessed with this blue here, this like darker blue here. It's almost like a periwinkle. What would it be called up? No, it's more like a cornflower. Not a periwinkle, a cornflower. But I really like this colorway as well. I think that is super, super cute. Some slightly uglier ones. A little bit ugly, but you know, they're gonna look good once they're all in together. So I think I want to go through and kind of like put them in some kind of order, because I want to have my favorites like front and center, and then some of my least favorites kind of in a place where they might not be seen so much. So I'm gonna go through, put them in order, and then we're going to add the black border, and then that will be done. So let's just do that, shall we? Here it is! Finally finished this scarf. I had to take a really long break in the middle of the day to 1, get my nails done, and 2, to sort out a bunch of stuff in my house. But I really like how this scarf has come out. It really makes me excited for this blanket that I want to make. So yeah, feeling inspired, which is always a good thing. That is officially the 10th scarf that I've made using my stash. And I know that I said that I was going to stop at 10, but like I said, I just got my nails done. Look at how cute they are. I got some little Valentine's Day themed nails, and once again it's inspired me. And I've been wanting to kind of make a granny square scarf, but using the heart granny squares. Not like the one where it's like actually in the shape of a heart, but the granny square that you change colours to make a heart pattern in the square, if that makes any sense. So I think I'm just going to do it, and I think I'm going to do it in pink and red to match these bad boys. So let's find the yarn for it. I also have just spent like the past hour winding up a bunch of yarn, so I think I have the yarn for it. Let me go find it. Okay, I found the yarn. This is the pink, which I will definitely be using, but I'm stuck between these two reds. Don't know if you can tell too much of a difference on camera, but this one's like super bright, and this one is a little bit more muted. I think these two look better, which kind of sucks because this is one of those small skeins from Hobbycraft, and so is this, but this is like a full red skein, which is actually fine because I do use this red quite a lot, but this is all I have of this red at the moment, so I'm definitely going to have to go get some more, which is fine. I am going to get my hair done tomorrow, which is near a Hobbycraft, so I will just get some, but just means we can't make too many squares tonight. Oh well, I can't put this on the stack because it's going to fall over if I do, so this scarf is just going to have to sit right next to me. You can kind of see I've moved some stuff around, so I actually have like space to flail my arms all over the place, which is nice because it means I can just put this ball of yarn over here for later on. Yeah, I guess I'll get started making some heart granny squares out of it. I mean, it's almost Valentine's Day, you know what I mean? It's currently the 6th of February, so sometimes I feel weird saying the date in my videos just in case it takes me 6 months to edit them. But guess that's just life. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead, crochet some squares.
I'm also like leaning more. Oh, let me just. No, that's really bad. I think actually this chair is okay as long as you don't put it in this much. Because it's just like...
No, go on. I'm sure they want to hear about it.
It's on?
Yeah. So I lied. I lied to you all. I was sat here and I just made the first square. By the way, this is what the square is going to look like. Okay? Very cute. But I was sat here like, I swear I have more of this red yarn. I could have sworn I literally saw it like a couple of hours ago, but it just like disappeared into thin air. Have no idea. So then I looked in my drawer again and I found it. A whole skein. But it turns out that this red is actually a different brand of yarn to this red. This is the Yarnsmiths Create from Wool Warehouse. This is the Women's Institute from Hobbycraft, and they are almost identical in colour, but this is slightly denser. So I was like, okay, we just won't use, I won't use the square, or maybe I'll use the square, but from now on I'll use this. And then I was sat there and I was like, I know that I have a bunch of light pink yarn somewhere that would be really good for this project. Because like I said, this pink yarn is the Knit Craft from Hobbycraft. And also, like, I do like these two colours together, but I wanted this pink to be slightly paler. I was like, I know I have some. I have a whole bag of yarn here that's got yellow in it. I keep buying yellow. I don't need to buy any yellow. And it has a slightly darker pink in it as well. But I remember I was working on this probably like, how long ago now? Like two years ago maybe? This is a jumper that I was going to make using the moss stitch. And I know why I haven't touched this yarn. It's because I keep wanting to go back to it to make this jumper again. But it would require me frogging all of this because I have since discovered a much better way of making jumpers. But instead of doing that, I'm just going to use the yarn for this scarf, which means that I will not run out of yarn for this project. And if anything, all I'll have to do is buy another one of these, which I'm totally fine with because I use this yarn all the time. So I've got to remake this square. That's what I have to say. But also I like these two colours together better. I like this pink with this red a bit more. They kind of match the nails a bit better. So it all worked out in the end. Another thing I thought of whilst I was crocheting this square was, how am I going to do like the crochet togetherness of it all? And I think what I've decided is I'm going to make 6 of the heart squares and then 6 round squares, if that makes sense. So 6 squares like this and 6 squares like this, alternating between pink and red, and then do an entire border in red. I think that's the vibe that we're going to go for, because then we have like our hearts, and we also have our, nope, sorry, didn't mean to flip you off. We also have, sorry, we have our hearts and we also have like the checker. So I think that's what we're going to do. But yeah, I can't believe that I completely forgot about all this yarn. Forgot about all this yarn, and it's just been sitting there for God knows how long. That's another bag to sort out, which is so fun. I love doing that. I also, at the bottom of that bag, found this 4.5mm hook. Come on, focus. I found this 4.5mm hook that I've been looking for ages. And no wonder I couldn't find it, because it was at the bottom of my drawers. So anyways, let's get back to crocheting. The Valentine's nails inspired scarf is done. I think this is so cute. I love these two colors together much better than the original square. I feel like looking back on it, these two shades are too similar. You know what I mean? Like, they're both too dark. You can't really see the heart very well. This one, however, perfect. And they do match the nails pretty well. I also added tassels to this one. Just felt like it needed it. And instead of doing 6 rows for the squares, I ended up doing 5 just because I felt like the heart squares looked a little bit nicer with just 5 rather than 6. So that meant that the scarf would be a little bit shorter if I only did 12 squares. So I ended up doing 13, which is only 1 extra, and having like the stripy granny square on both ends, and then obviously the tassels add a bit of length too. I know I've said this before, but this is the last scarf that I shall be making for this video, which is lovely. We used up a lot of that red yarn. I don't know where I put it. Oh, I put it in here. This is all we had left from that red skein. We still have a bunch of the light pink, but that was expected. So yeah, pretty good. But there was one last thing that I need to do before we officially end this video. Okay, so this suddenly just became way more work than it needed to be. But basically, the thing I had to do was to put tags on all of the scarves. I make my own little tags, and I only have 6, and we've got 11 scarves. So now I'm gonna have to make more tags, which is fine, I guess. And I'm just gonna make as many as I can now and hope that, you know, this will be less of a problem for me in the future. I make all of my tags using my Cricut. I use iron-on vinyl and then just this herringbone tape. And I make these cute little tags that I then just sew on. But it means I have to make all of them now, so bear with me. Okay, so I just made 30 tags. I made more than I needed just so I don't have to do that again in the future. But we're gonna now go ahead and actually sew them all on, and then we'll be done. Then we'll be officially done. I think I'm also going to trim the tassels on the 2 scarves that have, oh god, on the 2 scarves that have tassels as well. So that's the vibe we're going for. I'm holding on to you because you just fell over and I don't trust myself. So anyways, let's get sewing. I hate this part. I hate this part so much. Ooh, so that took a little while, but I have finally put the tags on all of the scarves and they are all in front of me and it looks so cool. So let me turn you around and show you. Here they all are. How cool is this? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 scarves. So as you can see, they all have their little tags, and then I also use this phrase stop stuff like on the edges of the tags to hopefully stop them from fraying. But it's worked so far, so fingers crossed it keeps working. But I am now going to wait for all of these to dry and have some food because I'm starving. Yeah, and then we'll be done. That's fun, isn't it? Wonder what we'll do next. Alrighty, all the scarves are officially finished, completed, taken photos of, and everything, which is so exciting. I've got them all in front of me. It's actually quite overwhelming. I'm going to attempt to hold them all. Attempt being the main word here. Let's put that one on there. Oh, this one's this one's slightly bigger, so I don't know why I didn't do this one first, but... That's a lot of scarves. That's a lot of scarves. I don't know where I'm going to put them. So that's a problem, but these are all the scarves. Put you there. And put you there. So, to answer the question that I asked at the beginning of this video, how many scarves can I make using my stash? 11, apparently. Technically 12, if you count the one that I made for my nan. I had a lot of fun making all of these scarves, but I think I am granny squared out. I think I've made so many granny squares recently and weaved in so many ends that I need to move on to something different. And I do have an idea of what kind of stash busting video I want to make next, so look out for that. But if you have any suggestions on things that I could make using my stash, that would be great. Leave them in the comments down below. Bear in mind that I am much more of a wearables person. I don't much like making like amigurumi, so pillows, those are cool, hats, scarves, gloves, jumpers, blankets, maybe like little baby blankets. I did have an idea on to do like a baby blanket video. I don't know, we'll see. I think out of all the scarves that I made, I think my favorite is the black with the multicolored squares. I think that came out really, really nice in the end. And I actually really like the primary colored one that we made as well. Oh, and the Valentine's Day like hearts one, just because it just matches my nails perfectly. So yeah. Hello, Jade from just a little bit in the future here. All of these scarves are now available on my Ko-fi if you are interested in getting one for yourself. All but one of them, which is one of the rainbow ones, which I had originally made for myself anyway, so I'm keeping that one. But the other 10 are listed. I had to put them in 2 parts because of the way the Ko-fi works, but they are all on there if you would like to get one for yourself. Okay, thanks. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching and thank you for sticking around whilst I ramble on about crochet. If you like the video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Have a lovely rest of your day, night or evening wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!